This is Tank's Vlog for October 15th, 2017, wrapping up today in sports. American League Championship Series has a day off for a travel day. Will resume Monday in New York with the Astros up 2-0. Meanwhile, National League Championship Series, Dodgers got great bullpen again, shut down the Cubs, and in the bottom of the ninth inning, Justin Turner hit a 3-1 walk-off home run, and the Dodgers now have a 2-0 lead. The two best teams in the are basically right now the Astros and the Dodgers. I think those are the better teams, and I think they'll win the series. So now it's up to the Cubs. They got to go to Wrigley Field. They got to get re-energized, and I think they got to win 3 straight if they want to have a chance of repeating. They've had their backs to the wall before. Let's see if they can respond this time. Now it's time for the NFL. The Week 6 wrap-up. And if you haven't realized by now, if you want to win at MyBookieAG, pick the opposite of what I pick because I suck. The one that was good, though, was the Dolphins. Surprising performance, down 17-0 at the half, looked absolutely lifeless, and they came back. Jay Cutler actually looked like a live quarterback for a change. He showed a pulse. I mean, the first half he was as stiff as his collar in the post-game press conference, but in the second half, Jay Ajayi had a big half, and the Dolphins came back and beat the Falcons 20-17. Those Falcons, choking is what they do, especially when they play a team from the AFC East. So the Falcons might have lost, but at least they're in Super Bowl condition. Ding! One team that's not in Super Bowl condition is the Green Bay Packers, who might have seen their season snap like a collarbone on a quarterback's back. Aaron Rodgers went down in the first quarter, was carted off, and now they're saying he will probably miss the rest of the season. If the Packers would have won today, they could have taken a stranglehold on the NFC North. But without Rodgers, Brett Hundley showed absolutely nothing. He was picked off 3 times. Vikings won. Vikings are now 4-2, tied for the division lead. And with Teddy Bridgewater on the verge of returning, I think now that's the Vikings division to lose. So, big win for today for Minnesota. And the Packers are hurting. Meanwhile, down in New Orleans, the Saints lit up the scoreboard with the Lions, 52-38. Once had a 45-10 lead. Then the Lions almost came back, got within a touchdown, but Matt Stafford, with his 3rd pick of the game, in the end zone, and the fate was sealed. I don't understand the Lions. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. It seems like whenever I pick them, they lose. Whenever I pick against them, they win. That's what I'm talking about. Go the opposite. At the Meadowlands, the Patriots spotted the Jets an early 14-0 lead, and then took a lead in the second half, 24-14. But the big story here is Austin Seferian-Jenkins. What was that? That was a touchdown. The ball never left his body. Might have not been in his arms necessarily, but he never lost control of it. He got back control of it. If the ball doesn't hit the ground, it shouldn't be a fumble. If the ball doesn't leave the possession of his body, it shouldn't be a fumble. If someone takes the ball from him, it's a fumble. If that ball touches the ground any point, it's a fumble. What a ridiculous call. You know, it's like the NFL has more technicalities than anything. If the ball, you got to complete the process of the catch. Oh, he was trying to tuck the ball back in. It was a fumble because the ball was not necessarily in control, but he didn't regain control until he hit the pylon. Why do we have to have so many complicated rules? If your eyes tell you it's a touchdown, it's a touchdown. It should have been a touchdown. Patriots probably would have won the game anyway, but it's just a horrendous, horrific call. Meanwhile, C.J. Beathard made his debut for the Niners and was solid at quarterback, but could not do enough as the Redskins held on to win 26-24. Mitchell Trubisky, meanwhile, got his first win, as Joe Flacco was just awful in Chicago today. Bears got a big game from Jordan Howard, 167 yards rushing, and got the win in overtime, 27-24. Baltimore Ravens, there's another team that just you can't figure out. One team you can figure out is the Cleveland Browns. Of all the teams in the NFL, they are the Cleveland Browniest. Yeah, really, their symbol really needs to be Charlie Brown missing the football. Because that is just the symbolic gesture of how bad this organization is. 0-6 after starting 0-14 last year. They've won one game in the last year and a half, 1 out of 22. They are putrid, pathetic, and just think about this. They traded out of the number 12 pick, that which allowed the Texans to draft Deshaun Watson, who's going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. Deshaun Watson tore the Browns up today, as the Browns with Kevin Hogan showed they don't have a quarterback again. So I guess they'll be looking for number 29 pretty soon. In the desert, Adrian Peterson, who was withering on the bench in New Orleans, came back in his first game with the Cardinals and showed he is still a viable NFL rusher, 134 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns as the Cardinals jumped out to a big lead and held on to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 38-33. In the game, Jameis Winston was injured, and Ryan Fitzpatrick nearly led them back with 27 points in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough as Arizona held on. Meanwhile, the Jacksonville Jaguars, another team that you just, one week looks good, next week they look terrible. This week it was terrible as Leonard Fournette rushed for 130 yards, but the Rams tore them apart on defense, 27-17. Go figure. Steelers, who last week stunk it up against Jacksonville, continue their mastery of the Chiefs, as the Chiefs, the last of the unbeatens, have fallen, and the champagne is flowing for the 72 Dolphins once again. Le'Veon Bell had a big day with 179 yards rushing. The Chiefs could go 16-0, but if they see that team in black and yellow come on the field, if they see the Steelers, they're gonna lose. It doesn't matter what their records are, the Steelers seem to have the number of the Raiders. Of the Chiefs, I should say. The Raiders, meanwhile, got Derek Carr back, but it didn't matter. Carr didn't have necessarily a great game today. Still probably feeling the effects of the back injury, as they lost to the Los Angeles Chargers 17-16 on the last-second field goal by Nick Novak. Now, the moment you're waiting for. Yesterday, as I previewed the games, I said the Giants have no chance in hell. I wrote it down on a piece of paper and said if they will win, I will eat it. I lost my suicide pool. With all the injuries, all the receivers hurt, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie's suspension, and today Eric Flowers looked like an actual offensive lineman. Denver Broncos laid a friggin' egg at home. What happened? Can someone explain that? And not just with Chris Collinsworth's laughter. Chris Collinsworth he is basically the equivalent of fingernails on the chalkboard annoying with that laugh of his. So, I said I'll eat my words. I should pour a little salt on it. Do you friggin' believe this? Do you friggin' believe this? Today's 3 stars are Justin Turner of the Dodgers for his walk-off home run, Le'Veon Bell of the Steelers, Adrian Peterson of the Cardinals. Birthday shout-out goes to Bryce Harper, who turns 25 and is watching the playoffs again on his couch. The tradition continues, and we look back at the 1962 World Series, which the Yankees won, as Bobby Richardson caught a screaming line drive by Willie McCovey for the last out, with the tying and winning runs on base. That concludes today's Tanks Vlog. Have a nice day. And hopefully I don't have to eat paper again. Ugh.